Hello guys, my name is Daniel and welcome back to episode 12 in our devlog series. This past week has been extremely productive. One reason being is that I had a day off from school, so I was able to get a ton done before I had to go do some other things. In addition, I also had a ton of motivation for some reason just to squash all the remaining bugs in AI and just try to finish up the AI in the next couple weeks, just so we can have phase 1 completed and move on to newer and better things for the project. Since I had the day off on Tuesday, I was able to get a couple of things done before I went to do some other tasks, one of which being the stone golem. I created it just to take my mind off programming and try my hand at character design again. It ended up looking pretty good, so the last thing I have to do to that model is rig it up and get some animations for it, but I'll do that later on in the next couple of weeks. In addition to modeling that day, I ended up making it so the player cannot scroll if he doesn't have the next weapon equipped, which just kind of makes more sense because if the player's in combat and he accidentally scrolls and he doesn't have a weapon equipped, it could mess him up pretty badly, so we didn't want that to happen, so we just disabled that and it's all good now. Last thing I did that day is doing some cleanup work. A couple of the scripts got really messy and I just really need to dust them off just to make them easier to be expanded upon later on in the future whenever we needed to. While I was working on the gameplay, Post Critical actually started on something on his own. We don't really want to spoil it to you guys just yet, but just know it's going to really affect gameplay and it's going to look amazing. Wednesday was the next day I worked on the project. I fixed a major bug with the player walking inside the enemies. This happened when the automatic targeting system made the player move inside the target and the player couldn't do any damage until it actually corrected itself, which was really annoying, but we got that all fixed up. The next thing we did was actually fix the return to camp methods. This happened when the goblin either walked away too far or chased the player too far away from the camp. They would turn around and walk back to camp, so they wouldn't be too disconnected from their original spawn point, so when you're clearing a camp they couldn't walk too far. The very next thing is that we fixed this odd look at target. It was scattered throughout the code and we just cleaned it up and made it look a lot better and more readable. Thursday was a shorter day. All I really did that day was kind of set up the foundation for the return to camp system where the goblins would actually stand still for a second when reaching the max distance and look at the target. Then after about 3 seconds they would turn around and walk back to the center of the camp. I wanted to do this because it gave a little bit more realism and it made the player give a little hint that they're about to walk back to the camp instead of just turning automatically and walking back, which I think feels way better in game, but I guess others will decide for me. On Saturday, I really wanted to sit down and just fix the remaining bugs for the AI just to make it work way more smoothly and just get it back to a state in which it's playable. So we fixed a bunch of code that just made the whole AI system feel way more smooth and just way more responsive and actually feel like you're fighting an enemy instead of this just like do this, do this, do this, so it all flows better and just feels a lot better to fight. In addition, I actually finished up the return to camp that I started back on actually Wednesday. Now it works correctly. They stop, they wait, and then they walk back after about 3 seconds, and I just cleaned up the rest of the AI code just to make it all smooth and wonderful. Last day of development was on a Sunday. I did something that I've been procrastinating on doing for a while, and that is adding back the patrol state. I never really got around to it just due to it being kind of an extra feature that I wanted to wait until I actually had a lot of free time to add back and just kind of clean it up. So I cleaned up the system, added it back in, and it works smoothly now. It works perfectly. There's no bugs or anything like that, so that is great. That's all I really did this week for Windshire. The one other thing I did do was work on a project titled Momentum. If you didn't see on the Discord, I posted a little screenshot and video of me playing the game. It is a fast-paced platform FPS project that we're working on in a kind of like a club setting at my school, so that's really fun. And I designed the first level and I just fixed up a ton of bugs there, so if you guys are interested in seeing the development of that, let me know and I might make devlogs, short little devlogs of that. But yeah, that's all I really did this video, and if you guys are interested in supporting the series and myself, there is a Patreon in the description, so go support that if you're interested. And if you just want to support the channel, hit that sub button and like like it and share it with all your friends, because that really just helps grow the channel. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next week.